And so I just pull out my knife and I just...
Is that as bad as it got?
I didn't even have the rest of the gun with it. He would just take the other, be like, I'm going to kill some cops.
You stabbed him?
Turns out that when you drink with Vivitrol, it makes you extremely violent.
Wow.
He's literally like blackout drunk, out of his mind.
Is that as bad as it got?
No. I guess for James, that's as bad as it got. I think that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. And I somewhat got kidnapped away from Ben and away from James. We had another guy that, had fronted us, and I had promised him my wedding ring. And so he ended up taking me, and he wouldn't let me out of his sight until we were like going to get it appraised. And, so after that happened, I was like, okay, I've been technically kidnapped like twice now. Maybe it's time to slow it down. And, but you don't really have that choice. When you're on crack, you don't get to make that, like it consumes every bit of you. It just takes you. And I think the only way to get out of it is to like sufficiently suffer enough to go through so much shit that you're like, you know what, I would just seriously rather die than to live like this anymore. And at one point, I had lost Ben. Like, we were living in a $700 truck with stolen plates at this point. And Brandon Kelly, his best friend that would later overdose, was kind of living in the truck with us. And I don't remember where Ben went. I think we dropped him off at a hotel to go score some dope for us. He stole my phone, and I couldn't find him. Like, he wasn't at the hotel anymore. I couldn't call him because I realized he had stolen my phone. And we seriously had just lost each other for like 3 or 4 days. I had no idea where he was. I just rolled around in the Tahoe looking for him. And I think that was one of the things. Like, we had gone through this much shit together. And now we're in the same area, running around with the same people, doing the same drugs, and we couldn't find each other. And as much as I was angry at him for stealing my phone and doing all the shit that we had done to each other in active addiction, I knew that I still loved this man, and I needed to find him, and I didn't want to lose him. And I think the thought of losing him, or knowing that he could be dead in an alley somewhere and I had no idea, I think that was part of what got me to my end of being ready to quit. And then you hear Ben's version, and he wakes up just covered in blood, has no idea where it came from. So I think that part, and then Ben's part, and we just were like, you know what, we're going to die if we don't leave. We're going to die. Our kids are going to die. It's time to go.
Was there infidelity in here too?
Not on my end. I've never been unfaithful ever.
On Ben's end?
Just with those 3 that we talked about earlier.
Not during this?
Well, because all we hung around were prostitutes. And even though he was cheating, Ben treasures his penis, so he wasn't going around prostitutes.
What are we missing?
I mean, there's a whole lot. I didn't know how long I was going to be sitting here, so I was just kind of jumping around. There's like Ben went in a very nice order, and I was just kind of all over the place. There's, the whole hell of a lot missing.
She stabbed me.
I did. I stabbed him. There's a lot that's missing.
You stabbed him?
Mm-hmm. It was more of a slash. It was a slash. But he, one of the times that he tried to get sober, he got really, really bad drinking. This is when we were in our big, nice house, and we were just swimming in money. And he just started drinking again and got so bad that he would take the upper of his gun and didn't even have the rest of the gun with it. He would just take the upper and be like, I'm going to kill some cops. And he would like literally run out the front door thinking he was going to go kill cops. Like, that's how out of his mind he was. And it got so bad like that I was like, dude, we gotta do something. Like, this is gonna get really fucking bad. And remember, like, I grew up with an extremely violent alcoholic for a mother. So that's what, I'm used to getting beat shitless. So like, he's never been violent with me, but I'm just seeing this progression. And I just know that at some point he's going to start beating the shit out of me like my mom used to. So I'm getting really fucking scared. I'm like, dude, you've got to do something because I can't. Once you start hitting me, I've got to go, and I don't want to leave him, and I know that. So, she's like, cool, it's fine. I will take a shot. There's a shot called Vivitrol, and it makes it to where like you don't want alcohol, or if you do drink alcohol, it's supposed to make you sick or something like that. So he starts doing that shot, and at first he does okay. First maybe a week or two. Well, then he starts drinking. He starts drinking with it. Turns out that when you drink with Vivitrol, it makes you extremely violent. And he got really, really angry. I don't even remember what it was about. And I remember we were arguing over something, and he gets in my face, and it's almost like PTSD from when me and my mom used to be, and I just reacted, and I think I just pushed him or something. I was just trying to get him out of my face and away from me because I didn't want to get beat. And he took that as an act of aggression, and he took my head and like with his, he's got a big hands, dude. So he took my whole head and bashed it into the wall. And like I saw black, like for a split second. I think any harder and I would have, like, he would have made me black out. Luckily I didn't. Luckily it was like a half second of blackness. And I was like, oh fuck, he could have just really fucked me up. And I'm always carrying a blade, always. Since I was like 14, I've carried knives on me. And so I just pull out my knife and I just slash the shit out of his arm, like right here. And that was it. Like, gloves were off at this point. He was like, oh, fuck no, bitch. And he just starts, pushes. It was such a blur that I can't tell you exactly everything that happened, but I do know that we were at each other's throats. He was trying to hit me. I was trying to hit him. There was a knife involved. There was blood everywhere. And we make it into the bedroom. And I think at this point, like, he's, I'm a girl. He's a guy. He's a lot stronger than me. And I know this. And so I'm trying to get the fuck away from him because he's literally like blackout drunk, out of his mind. He's not been anymore. And so I'm trying to run from him because I just realized I just slashed this motherfucker. He's going to kill me. So I run into the bedroom and I try to close the door. Of course, he kicks it open and gets on top of me and starts choking me. So much so that I'm starting to black out. Like, I'm starting to lose consciousness. And Thomas and his girlfriend, Jackie, were like in a truck in the garage or in the driveway this whole time. Like, he was supposed to be coming in to get his belongings or something. Like, he decided to move back to Thomas's house for a while because we had gotten into it because he was drunk. So they were sitting outside waiting on him to come back out. He was supposed to just be coming in to get his items. So I kind of come to because I was barely even conscious at this point, and Thomas is ripping him away from me and pulling him off me because just hands around my neck. I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch. And just like, it was very bad. It was a very traumatic experience. But I do believe, had Thomas not peeled him off of me, I would not be here right now. I almost lost consciousness. So there's not a lot of stories like that. That was the most violent one between us. There were a couple of knife fights over heroin, just because I always have a knife and I always pull out a knife. So that's on me. But there's a lot of bad that happened.
Wow.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.